welcome back to Restore Christine. Bill here, Christine our 56 Bel Air. She's going to sit idle today. I'm not going to work on her. I'm going to work on the powertrain. I've got the motor. I've got her motor on an engine stand, and it's been here for a little while. And for those that watch my channel know that it's kind of been sitting over here in the corner. It's my Saginaw 4-speed transmission, and this is a 350 and 010 block. I have no idea what this motor is, to be truthful with you. We're going to find that out. We're going to settle that mystery, because today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this motor down, but I got a few fun things that we're going to do. So I've got a Borescope that I picked up for another problem, and I decided, you know what, let's just, for giggles and grins, we're going to poke around and see what we've got in here. I have no idea. This motor makes good power, but then again, Christine's got a 411 gear in the back of it, so it's like, you know, you drop anything in first gear, I could have a 6-cylinder to probably, you know, pull a scratch. So anyway, but this motor's got an Edelbrock manifold on it. It's got a it's a Performer RPM, and it's got smog heads. This is junk heads, nothing to it. I can't really tell much about the motor. It's got a really nice sounding cam. Everybody loves the sound of this motor. In fact, in some of my transition scenes, you'll see there's like a picture of Christine at night with the lights on and that lope in the background. That is this motor. So I'm gonna find out what I've got. I don't know. I'm planning on taking these heads and throwing them in the lake as a boat anchor. Well, I got a pair of boat anchors, so now I've got brand new heads in the box. I'll do an unboxing video soon. I have a Holley double pumper, and we've always used a carburetor on this motor. When I first got the car, it had points ignition, but I converted the points to just being a trigger, so I have an MSD box to clean up the ignition because it was really stinky. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it and see what we're dealing with. Alright, so this is an Ames Borescope. This came from Harbor Freight. I buy a lot of tools from Harbor Freight. I got this because we were trying to fix a problem with my son's car, and he had a water leak and we couldn't quite tell where it was coming from, and so we used this Borescope to help us pinpoint where that was so that we didn't take apart too many things unnecessarily. So what I'm going to do on my 350 here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to poke around. I've got the open exhaust ports. I've got the open where the spark plugs go. I've got the intake manifold. So let's just poke around and see what we've got. All right, so the first thing we're going to go into this first exhaust port. And there's the exhaust valve stem. I don't really care. Valve's closed, so we can't really see inside of the cylinder. I'm going to go inside the first spark plug hole and see what I see. What are we expecting? Flat tops? I don't see any valve reliefs. Let's see, I can't tell if the piston's there or not. Let's go into the next spark plug hole. Whoa, there we go. Alright, we can clearly see what's going on here. Alright, I got... Oh, is that a set of flat tops? I think it is. I think it is. I got one valve relief, one eyebrow on one side. I don't see the eyebrow on the other side, but it could be shrouded. But that's a good sign. Hopefully these pistons are in good shape. So I can see the next one's got a couple eyebrows. Let's see what the next one looks like. Way down in the cylinder. Alright, now we can take a look at the cylinder and see what the cylinder looks like. Oh, now we got the top of the piston. Yeah, it's got two valve reliefs. It's got two valve reliefs on the top of the piston. What is that buildup? Is that just carbon? I can't tell what that is on the top of the piston. But let's look at the cylinder wall. Step back a little bit. Hard to tell with the darkness, and this motor's not been rotated or spun in a couple of years, so it's a curious little experiment. Let's start taking some stuff apart. Inside of the manifold, you know, it's not too bad. You can see there's a little bit of wet on this side, a little cleaner. You can kind of see a little bit of carbon in there, a little build up. Not too bad. I mean, this is on the top side, but I mean, there's definitely some buildup of something in here. And I don't know, maybe that's from letting the car sit and then the fuel that drips and then settles down in there. Maybe that's the residue. I've always burned ethanol-free gas in here. So let me go ahead and put you back in the tripod. We'll start taking, unbolting things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the distributor. You know, I don't have any tattoos. But if I did, I've often thought about this. I would probably get tattooed somewhere on me the firing order of a Chevrolet. 1-843-6572. That's like a number sequence that I have known since I was a 15-year-old kid in high school. 1-843-6572. And when I built, I got a 1971 Cutlass convertible, and I got a Rocket 350 in it, and it's also 1-843-6572, except it's counter rotation. It rotates differently than this, so you got to go 1, and then the 8 goes on the opposite side, and it goes in a different order. So anyway, so I got my distributor out now. Let's see what else I got to get off. I might probably take some of the stuff off of the intake manifold. I'll take that stuff off. I'll take the valve covers off, and let's see what my valve gear looks like. Even though we're going to throw these heads in the trash. So let's see. I had these cool wing nut looking valve cover holders. I don't know why. They just looked cool. And then the the little wings started to get out of position with the cork gasket. So I'm hopeful that I can figure out something different. I don't think I'm going to go back with these wings. I've got a completely different look for this motor. This motor right now is all billet, you know, and that's not you know, it's not what I want. But I got replacement. Wow, boy, these are on there. I got replacement valve covers, so let me get something to pry that off with. All right, let's see if we can't get them off. This one's loose. All right, doesn't look bad. Whew, smells like gasoline though. Smells like fuel. That is a sweet smell though. Oh man, only a gearhead would understand that. You know, it's, there we go. This is glued shut. Backside. Oh, that's what it is. I had these big old, I had valve cover leaks left and right. So I had these big old thick gaskets from, I guess from Summit. These things are huge. So that's what I had on there. I pretty much change the oil pretty regularly, but I can't speak for what Christine, how she was treated before I got her. And I've had her almost 20 years now. So, yeah, these are some cruddy smog heads, man. You know, we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on them. I am gonna recover all my push rods, my rocker arms, all that topside stuff, because my heads that I bought have valves and springs and everything just set up and ready to go. So let's see, where do we go next? Let's start pulling some of this stuff off of the top of the manifold. There isn't a single gooseneck in the world that doesn't leak. This must be covering, yeah. All that prettiness is gonna go away. We're not worried about that. That was what I had the car looking like. There was nothing, I didn't have it. It wasn't a theme. It's gonna be a theme now. There it went. All right, looks like it's a small cap. This gooseneck looks like it's a, what is that, 7/16? Yeah, 7/16. I've always run a thermostat. I used to do race cars. We used to not have thermostats. Look at that. That's all just cheap metal, cheap pot metal with chrome on it. Made it look good. Oh man, yeah, oh yeah. There's some salt and whatever in that block. Get that out of the way. What else? Not a whole lot to pull off of there. I mean, let's just go ahead and pull the manifold off. All right, all the intake manifold bolts are off. I have a screwdriver to try to pry it free. I don't know how loose it is. too bad. I think it's good. You don't ever want to go too much with that because you can crack it if it's locked down. But all the gaskets are free now. Let's see what we got. Pick it up. Oh, wow, that's clean. That's clean. Ooh, look how pretty. Look at the bottom of the manifold. That looks good. All right. I've never had that cleaned up. But look at the inside of that, the gallery. You know, the gallery looks clean. There's no buildup, no gunk in here, nothing. I mean, it's just dirty oil. So, let's see, there's gunk from the water jackets. Ooh, look at that. That's nasty. Wow, okay. I got a brand new radiator. I bet that old radiator's got junk all up in it. You never know. You know, Christine was laid up for a few years. So let's see, what do we do next? Let's pull off the valve train gear. I want to keep all of my lifters in order, so I got to figure out a way to organize that. And I'm just going to make sure that the lifters are in the right space. I don't care about the the rocker arms or the nuts or the hardware or anything like that, but I definitely want to make sure that my cam lobes and these lifters are on the same ones. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I've got no concern about the order or any of these. So all right, last few. All right. So what's next? I guess I'll drain the fluid. I'll drain the oil, and then we'll pull the heads off. All right, let's drain the oil. See what we got. It's gonna be black. Ooh, yeah. A little bit milky. I don't know. Something came out on the surface. I don't know if that's fuel. I'm curious to see if there's any metal. I've never noticed it before. That's pretty dark. And I change oil pretty regularly in Christine, but I mean, it's just what you get with a carbureted motor. And I don't know what the rings will like. So let's go ahead and let that drain, and then we'll pull the heads off and see where we're at. All right, in order to get the head off, I got to resort to using my air impact, which I don't use very often. In fact, I haven't used this thing in 10 or 15 years. Let's see if I'm going the right way. Still works. Might have put a breaker bar in that one. All right, we've got a couple we got to put breaker bars on, but that's, I think all of them. Okay, just two. All right, let's see what we got. Cool, yeah, man, that was tight. Wow, that one was hard. Okay, got that one, this one. Damn. Got it. All right, one more. I think, no, that was it. Get the impact back on and get them off. Got the side bolts all loosened up with the impact. They all came loose. And let's see if we can get this head off. I don't think it's going to want to cooperate easily. A little bit of prying should do it. Get around here. I'd like to see what the head gaskets look like. It's coming up. studs, I think. All right, head gasket's gonna go with the head with a block. Oh, so far looks good. Ooh. Okay. Let's see what we're looking at. Ooh, I don't know. Well, let's see. Dust. Yeah, all right. Well, the cylinders don't look scored. Let's take a look at them. Definitely a set of flat tops. That's just grit on the surface. Cylinder walls. Cylinder walls look good. Let's see, any scoring? I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. No scoring. I'll have to take a micrometer and see what I'm dealing with. So now I'm going to get this side off and let's take a look at the other bank. All right, already pry it up underneath it a little bit. What's heavy here? There we go. Still on that stud and the retainer. There it went. Put that in the ground. Boat anchor. What we're dealing with. Cylinders look good. I don't see any scoring. No, they look good. Let's see if I can't get you on top of it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take a micrometer and see what I'm dealing with, see if they're out of round, but it looks like, I mean, just, you know, based on my eye, there's no ridge up here. It's just carbon. There's no ridge. So just based on what I can see so far, I'm pretty certain that this block's not going to need boring, which is what I wanted. What I wanted. I just wanted to be able to hone it. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably take the block, take it down, pull it apart, pull a crank out, and I'll probably send it off to have it hot tanked and honed and have new cam bearings pushed in it, pressed into it. But let's keep going. Pull the water pump off. Need to get a new one. A short water pump. I bought my vintage air unit all for a short water pump setup. All right, let's go ahead and rotate it over. I don't know how balanced this is. Doesn't feel too bad. Not bad at all. I'm sure it's gonna make a mess. Yeah, let me get ready for that. Clean up whatever drops. Water and everything else. There's some oil. Ooh, yeah. Not a whole lot, but some. All right. Get something to mop that up with, and then we'll take the oil pan off. All right, let's pull this pan. These are all 7/16, I think, except for the ends, which are 1/2 inch corners. Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm not sure if I'm going to change the bearings or not. There's no need to if they're not worn or scored. And I'm betting they're pretty new. I'm going to keep everything in the same order position. So I'm not going to break. I might break a couple of caps today in the main, but I'm not going to pull a crank out. I'm going to leave it sit 1/2 inch. Yeah. free. Whole box of bolts. It's an ugly, nasty mess of silicone on this. Oh yeah, that's bad. Pretty ugly. So we got well, we're going to want to look at the bottom of this pan. I'm going to pull that on the side. I want to see what's in the bottom of that. But let's see what we're looking at here. They painted green. I've never seen that before. You know, the motor didn't have any rod knocks or anything like that. It was quiet. You know, hydraulic. So we'll have all that. Before I break it all down, I'll mic it all and see where we're at. Put some feeler gauges in here and check all the clearances and everything. But yeah, let me see if I can spin it. Should spin pretty easily. Yeah. Yep. So you can see any skirts when they come down. That one's almost at the bottom. Yeah, I can't tell if the skirt's like that skirt's got a little bit of knurling left. Knurling left in this skirt. Let me show you. Before I pull the pistons out. See the knurling, so it gives me a kind of an idea of whether or not we got any wear. And I don't think we do, but this green paint, I don't know what's up with that. That's a rebuilding trick that I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but maybe they marked it as they torqued it. I'm not sure, but it's not on the bottoms of the caps. So the cap's numbered. The caps are ground off. Look, they're different. Look at this cap. It's got this much meat on it, and this cap does not. I wonder if this has been balanced. Huh. Well, let's see, the caps maybe are marked on the sides. Maybe right here. I'm used to them being marked on the bottom. 2-bolt main. What is this block? An 014. Okay, it's not an 010, it's an 014. Okay. Yeah, rear main seal. Okay, well, let me see if I can't break loose a couple of these caps, and we'll take a look and see what our bearings look like. This is a look of incredible surprise. For years, I've been saying this is a 350, and I could never ID the casting number. The casting number was on the back, but I was taking some measurements, and I discovered some things. Let me show you what I'm finding. So, the casting number in the back, I thought was 3970021, and there was gunk in there, and if you look at it really good, that's a 4. 3970024. And then scraped off the front, and I don't know what this 128 is, but this 030 probably tells me it's been bored 30 over, and I don't know what this stamping number is. This doesn't come up anywhere. And again, it's an 014 block. But I was doing some measurements in here, and this looked a little tight to me. I just couldn't put my finger on it. So I went ahead and measured. I put the caliper inside of the cylinder, and I am reading. I'll get it to where you can see it. I am reading 3, right about 3.9. 3.9, and if memory serves me right, a 307 has a 3 and 7/8 bore, 3875. So if 3875 bore 30 thousandths, that gets you close to 3.9. a little bit more than 3.9. That's the right bore. So I measured the stroke. I'll put you back in the tripod and I'll show you that. So I got the motor right now at top dead center. And here's my stroke. So it is right at 3, a little more than 3.3. So there's like 40 thousandths of clearance in the quench area. So if you take that, that gives you about 3¼ inch stroke. The 350 should be 4-inch bore, 3.48. 327 would be 3¼ on the stroke and a 4-inch bore. It's a 307. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to say. It's a 307. Ran good. Made good power. Sounded awesome. I don't know. Let me. Wow, this has got to sink in. I ordered a new set of heads. I got a new set of camel hump. The trick flow, fastest cast, the ones that are like the aluminum camel humps. I spent good money for those heads. It was one of the things I wanted to splurge on. Thinking this was a 350, it's a 307. I mean, even it's bored 30 over. It's got a good cam in it. I'm hoping these heads, which have big valves in them, I'm hoping they clear the cylinder walls. So I gotta look into that. Okay. This is gonna take a little bit to sink in. Sorry. Let me pull off one of these rod caps. See what I'm dealing with. Bearings look good. Wipe that off. Shoot. That's pretty. There's no scoring, no seizing. Still got the first surface. Crank is pretty. Crank is really pretty. All right, let's take off a rod cap. I mean, that's a rod cap. Let's take off a main cap. Let's see what this main cap looks like. Oh, pretty. Also pretty. Not much to see here. A little bit of I might have picked up something. I mean, it looks good. Like a piece of grit. Might have gotten in there. Crank looks good. Well, so far everything looks good. Just the big thing is, it's just not what it thought it was. Whew, okay. All right, one last thing. I went and picked up a puller from AutoZone, and I'm going to pull a harmonic balancer off and see if we can't pull this timing chain cover and see what this cam is in here. But I was thinking, I don't know if you can see it in the background, but over there I've got another motor. There's a story behind it. That's part of what my options are. Is that's a Vortec motor. I don't want to go there, but it gives me an option with the heads, and it gives me an option with the block. So we will see. So let me get this harmonic balancer off. Now remember, this is a little tiny harmonic balancer. Remember these? I had a 327 one time in a 70 Chevelle, and it had this little bitty teeny tiny little harmonic balancer. It was from the late 60s, I think, mid 60s, something like that. But it does the job. All right, let's see. I'm gonna get the little electric impact and pull that off. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this motor. My gut initially tells me I'm gonna keep it as is. As is. And there's a reason for it. You know, it's part of the soul of the car, to be truthful with you. Let's see, that's all we got. Get a screwdriver, pry that off. Yeah, it's part of the soul of the car. You know, I've had this car since 2005, and it's the only motor that's ever propelled it. And there's a lot of miles that I've had with this motor. So, you know, it's a 307. It's not a 350. You know, it doesn't make as much power as what I was thinking it made, because it's it's got the cruddiest set of heads. Timing chain looks like, woo! Look at that! Wow! A lot of slack in the chain. A lot of slack. My goodness. Man, the timing, so camshaft's gonna be running retarded. That much slack, shoot. I mean, look how much play is in that. I mean, you know, all right. Let me get this off. And let me see what that cam says. I can't get to the faceplate of it yet, but I want to see. Got an ID on that? Not that I can see. All right, maybe there's an ID somewhere else on it. I was hoping it would be on the nose, but I'll pull the cam out. All right, so what am I seeing here? 5002, and then 975182, and an E something or another. Not sure what that is. There's no cam button on it, so it's riding on the face of the cover. Let me look that up on the web and see if we can't find what that is. All right, well, that didn't take long. Apparently it's an Edelbrock Torker-Plus hydraulic camshaft. It's long in the duration. It's 232 degrees on the intake, 234 on the exhaust. And it's not super high in the lift, but it's high enough. It's 488. You know, so 0.488 lift on the intake and the exhaust. It's got 108 degree lobe separation. Or 108 degree lobe centerline. One of them was 106, one of them was 108. So anyway, way too much cam for this motor. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know if you saw these heads, but check the heads out. I mean, look at these combustion chambers. They're absolutely huge. They're monstrous. You know, these are terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's see the intake, or let's see the intake ports. There's no work done on them, but look at these tiny little throats. It's got the EGR or the crossover, and then little teeny tiny valves. I mean, shoot, you know. So I don't know, man. I know they were boat anchors, but I mean, the whole motor's like a boat anchor. I think I'm gonna keep it. But here's what I'm thinking. Check this out. So off underneath here, buried underneath here, this is a Vortec, I believe a Vortec 350. Okay, so in 2013, I bought this 1971 Cutlass convertible. It was a basket case, and the guy that was trying to build it had this motor literally welded in it. It was welded with the motor mounts. And he said he put a cam in it. He had an Edelbrock carburetor on it. He had a number of different things that he had on this thing. So, but it's a Vortec motor. I never did anything with it. So I've had it sitting right there for 10 years with this GM metric 200 transmission behind it. So I'm thinking that maybe there's some combination, maybe some trade-off. Maybe I take the Vortec heads off of that motor. Maybe I put them on this 307. Maybe I take my brand new trick flow heads, and maybe I put those on the Vortec motor. You know, I don't know. I've got a few different options, but I think somewhere between this 307 and that Vortec motor, somewhere in there is my solution, and I don't have the answer yet. Well, there you have it. So my 350 isn't a 350. I got a set of trick flow, fastest cast heads, double hump, that are going to be useless for this motor. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and put those original heads back on and just bolt it and run what I've got, because that's the heart and soul of the car. I don't know if I'm going to take this GM Vortec engine that's behind me and maybe try to do something with it, but I don't like the look of the Vortec. It's like I like the classic look. So that's where I'm at. I got decisions to make. And yeah, so do appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of this video. Entertaining, if nothing else, man. But we're going to continue on. We're going to plug away. So if you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying the channel, I'd love a subscription. So until I see you next time, please take care of yourself. Cheers.